Okay, welcome everybody. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Steven. I'm currently a third year at Unitech in the Bachelor of Architecture. So tonight I just wanted to go over my approach in how I create a site analysis. I'm mostly showing that for people in my year, like we have to do site analysis for a project. So the site is 33 Asquith Avenue. Um, so yeah, so that's the site. I'm using GeoMaps. If you've seen my Figureground tutorial earlier, you know that I use this website to extract the information so I can make a Figureground. But today I just want to show you what's important in your site analysis. So first, I want to show you this website. If you don't know, it's the Auckland Design Manual. Here's the address here. And why is it important? Because this website has a lot of guides that you could use to present or showcase your designs. So if you go on the process guide, you get design statement. Just click on that. And what you want to see is exemplar design statement. Okay. I mean, the council have spent a lot of time creating guides to help us, like designers, to do a better jobs and communicate our design a bit better. So for this one, we're going to use design statements for apartment. Click on it, and here, and then just download the design statement. And if you have any question as we go, just type in the live chat. Okay, so that's what it looked like. It's actually exactly what we've been asked to do. So that's the content, the site analysis. That's what we go. We're going to study the existing site plan, the streetscape, and neighborhood, and the context. So if you download this PDF, and you can go over it after, but that's what I'm going to show you. So here the existing site plan talk about the boundaries of the sites, how big it is, the information, the location. Then talk about the climate, so it's mostly about where the sun path, and this is important because if we start building a 3-story, 6-story, 10 stories, it will create some shadows around, and well, some people might not be really happy that you're doing that. So that's why it's important to have the sun and also the wind. So, and also on our sites, what's important, it's the trees, the location of the trees. That's something that you also have to take into consideration. Let's go back to the PDF. Oops, not this one, not this one. Oh, come on, where is it? Here. Then view and vista. Because on this one, I think the vista would be like Mount Albert, a bit further away, Mount Eden, and maybe the city. And this is important later on when you want to place your apartment, if you want them to face a certain type of view. And then you have pollution. Pollution is mostly about the traffic. So where is the road? Is that road used a lot? And then what they call streetscape character. So this one, let's say you go on Google Map. So that's Mount Albert, and our site's around here. It's trying to find out what type of houses are on our site, because we can use that to influence our design and just create a building that kind of fit in that place, in that community. Because if you start to make a really modern building all around those villa type houses, yeah, I think the neighborhood is not going to be happy. So it's important that you go on site. I mean, you could use Google Street Map just like I did, and you go around and look at the type of houses they have on Asquith. So it's like the typical bungalow type with the waterboards. You got some brick houses, and then if you keep going down, just click, then you teleport, and it's the same like bungalow type, waterboards. What about on the other side? So that's our site here, and you can see another weatherboard house. What's also important when you look at the streetscape, you look not just the house and the design, but look at the setbacks. How far from the streets is the house? Look at the different type of fences they have. Like in this one, it's like stone. It's a low fence. If you go on this side, it's a wooden fence, a bit higher. Another wooden fence, stone with some vegetations, and you just keep going along Asquith, and maybe on the other side, Burswich or something. And this one is Wellesley. So I think it's important that you actually go on site, take some photos of the different houses, and just to get an idea of what's there. Okay, let's go back. So that's what they're talking about, showing the different type of buildings. And you could also note where the cars are parked. Because I think on Asquith you can park on the road. Okay. Then street topology. So now we're starting to look at the neighborhood. So not just what's around our site, because now we've just looked around this street, and this one. So now we just pull back and look at a broader context of what's around us. So first you look at the different streets and how they're laid out. If you go back to the map, so like this one is like the main road, and you get the side streets, and you look how the different layers. So here you get the fence, you get the walk path, then you get some vegetations a bit wider, you get the electrical poles, then you get the streets, two ways, and it's the same on the other side. But let's say you go on this one, it's a bit different here. The street is narrower. The footpath is actually right next to the road, and then you on this side here, you go. So it's a bit different. So the footpath is on this side, then you get the vegetation, then you get the house. But if you look at the other side, you actually have the vegetation, the footpath, vegetation. It's a bit different. So what I would recommend is to just go on site and just walk there and see how it feels. Do you feel more protected when you walk towards here? Do you feel more protected when it's like this? So just take that in consideration. So I would take photos of going on that side, going on that side, and I will also have a look at this street here, because just around the corner. As you can see here, footpath close to the side, then you get vegetation, then you get streets. This is similar. This one is a bit narrower, and on the other side it's vegetation, footpath. One thing you also have to notice here is that this street is actually going down, and it can be seen in the way the fences are, because you can see they're all slanted, or in some cases they are stepping. So you look at the different road topologies, and then now you pull back even further to see what kind of amenities or stuff that's around. So let's go back. So this one, it's better to use Google Maps than GeoMaps, because Google will actually give you some labels that will help you. So our site is around here. So usually what you would note is schools. So you get Unitech here, we're here. You get Mount Albert Community Center, you get another grammar school, I think you get the primary school here. So all those things are quite important, because when you design, it will be for people who will live in that community in Mount Albert. So you want to design that take in consideration things that they usually tend to see quite often. So people who live there, they will often go to maybe the restaurants that are down here. Like there's a lot of shops here, or they will go take their kids to school. So they would be used to see that type of building. Or I think there's a few church. I think there's a church around, I think it's around here. And next to our site, there's a church as well. So you go there, you take some photos, and you can use that as reference later on. So here they talk about, I think this one's mostly about open space. So if you go back here, big open space here, the golf course, and we got the park there, big park here, and we also the park at Unitech. And maybe here it's good to talk about also the views if you want to talk about Mount Eden and Mount Albert. So you could have a map showing all those things. And if for you, what's also important is maybe showing where the coffee shop are, the restaurants, or the shopping mall, because I mean they're all important as well. Movement. So one big thing that we were asked to do is to maybe think about other ways that people can go to places without using their car. And what you can see is that our site's here, and then we actually have like a train line that's coming here. We got two stations that's close by our site. So we got the Mount Albert station down here, Baldwin Avenue, and we also have that bus network. And something that we've been told in class is about the walkability of the site. If something is, let's say, in a 500-meter radius, walkability, people would actually consider taking it. So that's a Figureground that I've taken. So that's our site here, and this is the train line. This circle is a 400-meter radius. So as you can see, the train is close by, the bus line are close as well. So that's something that you could consider and maybe show in a map where the different transport are. You could also look at this map. It's called OpenStreetMap, and on this one you will have different type of layers. At the moment I have the transport map on. So this one clearly shows you where the train is and the path of the bus. I can see that's the bus network. So you could also use that layer and for your presentation. And another thing that you could do to show transport or to get the information is to actually get the direction. So let's say to Mount Albert, and most people would like to go to Auckland Central maybe. So now you get the transport by car. It takes 10 minutes. Then you can click on this. It will show you, right, show me just by train. Wait. Ah, it's better. Yeah, it was gonna take a long way. Yeah? I don't know why. So you can see, if you click here, it will show you the path of the train, and because I put Mount Albert, just put outside. Oops. So you can see here they clearly show up from this side. You can actually just walk, and that's the station, and then it will take you to Britomart. 28 minutes. Yeah, it takes a bit longer. And then you can also do bikes, and that's the path to go city. So maybe you can have a map showing the different ways that people can get to city, and maybe difference in time and distance. Okay, so you can see here they show the main streets. So maybe you can also go on sites and take photos of the different roads, because, well, New North Road is actually like the main streets in this area. That's where the bus are. Maybe you can just go there, take a photo of the bus, or you can go to the train station, take a photo of that as well. It'll be good to have that in your presentation. It just shows that you've been to the site as well. Build form and character. This one's a bit harder. It's you know all the places that I told you to go see, like the churches, schools, malls, and those kind of things. Well, you go there, you take photos. I think for our site, what's important is maybe this area here, the Mount Albert Village. So yeah, oh, it's a rainy day. Maybe I'll change the date. Yeah, that's better. Sunny. So as you can see, take a photo of this and study it. Like, it's a 2-story plaster. You can see the columns. So this will help you later on when you want to design, if you want to get influenced by this or not. So that's like the eating area, and then maybe you can go have a look at the community center. I mean, that's the easy way to do it by using street maps, but yeah, just go on site and have a look by yourself. So go there, see how it is designed, because you know that's the type of place that people who live there will actually go quite often, because I think they have a gym as well inside, so that when you start to design your own, you will actually design stuff that people will already used to see. So when you show it to them, they wouldn't say, "Oh no, it's ugly." So that's what you can do. And use activity. So just like I said before, in some areas, like this is schools, restaurant, shops. So maybe you can have another map, maybe a Figureground that shows the program, because in this area it's mostly residential, school, shopping mall, and it'll just give you an idea of how far things are from the sites. You know, we had that 400 radius for the walkability of what's around. Maybe you can have another one that's a bit bigger, like 2 kilometers, and maybe that will include the schools, the shopping mall. So actually people could just take the bus on this side and go there, or just walk. You wouldn't be too far away, maybe like 15-minute walks. So that's what you can do. And for the urban structure, that's why I started to do a Figureground, and you can start to see how the streets has been laid out. As you can see, like the train is actually cutting into the grid that was created. See, there's like blocks, so mostly grids, but then you get this angle here from New North Road, and that's creating that kind of triangular shapes, and you get that curve. So maybe that's something that you can talk about. And another thing that's interesting is about the permeability. As you can see from here, so that's Ascript Road, and you got a lot of cul-de-sac here. So people come here and they have to go this way. They are not connected, and I think well, that's because of the train line. And except on here, you can actually cross it. But like from this side here, you can actually cross and go to this road, no problem. They're connected. But this area around us, yeah, they can't. Here you can. So maybe that's something that you can talk about as well. Oops, nope. Go back here. Planning context. Okay, so for this one, you would go to the Oakland Unitary Plan. That's the website here, or you can just Google it and it will come up. You go to View Maps, and you're gonna get a map that kind of looks like that looks exactly like the GeoMaps. Come on. Okay. Press OK. One thing that you really need to pay attention, and that's a mistake that I made, and thanks Ben for reminding me. But check that it's up to date, because before I went to Google, I typed Oakland Unitary Plan, and one of the results, I clicked on it, but it was actually outdated. It was from 2015 or something. So make sure that you get the latest one. So this one's updated 2017. And then you just type in your address. That's good. And that's what you get. So if you pull back, you get a lot of colors and everything. And here, that's the 33, but then there's different units, because as you remember, they used to have townhouses there, and each townhouse has actually a legal name. So that's why they have 733. But what you want to do is just scroll down and click on this one. So that's the main site. So that's what we have. Address, legal description. That's something that you usually put like in your resource content drawings, or so that people at the council can actually find it quickly. And what's important here is the zoning: residential, mixed housing, urban zone. And you got other stuff here. If you wanted to print that information, you could just print it, do high, A3 or whatever, just press print, and then it will take maybe 2 or 3 minutes to do it, and then you can just click open. It will open in the PDF in your browser, and then you just save that. And you can click here to include the legend. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't show the layers that I want to. But yeah, let's keep going. Oops, result. So now what you want to know is exactly what does it mean, mixed housing urban zone. So you would click on full unitary plan text. That's what's going to pop out, and where you want to look is chapter H, zone. Click on that, and we knew it was mixed housing urban zone, so click on the PDF. So here there's some readings to do, but what I think is important is to look at the objectives. So here, development is keeping with the neighborhood's planned urban build character of predominantly 3-story building in variety of forms and surrounded by open space. I mean, that's what they want, but if in your design you want to do 3, 4, 5, 6, or 2, 1, it's really up to you. Because it's actually special housing area, and you could go up to 6 stories and 27 meters in height. So it's up to you. So I will read these objectives and the policies. I think that's what's important. So you read all through this, and it will tell you what the council wants from your design. Activity table, well, you can skip that. It's just telling you what type of development you can have on that site. But we asked to do housing, so it will be picked for us. But you can have a look if you want to. And I think you can skip that. You can skip that. Building height. That's important to say how far you can go. So in this case it's 11 meters, but now that this zoning, this place has been turned into special housing area, you get other rules that I think overrules those one. But usually that's the type of diagrams that you'll have. And height in relation to boundaries. So where's the site? So you get your site. So this is the boundary of that site, and what they say in it's 3 meter high. Yeah, 3 meter high and then 45 degrees. So when you design your house, let's say you got your building here, it should stay within that that shell that this restriction creates. Like, I can't build my building too close to the boundary because it will just go over that line. So that's what it means. And then you get that 11 meter height restriction. So it creates kind of a box. So that's your limit that you have to build within. So read that. Get some few exception, because I mean this is not gonna affect you that much. And why the height relation to boundary is important? I think it's mostly just so you don't block the sun from everybody, from your neighbors. And this is not this is just for Auckland, or maybe just that site or that zoning, because if you go to, let's say, Waitakere or North Shore, they would have other rules. Like, it might be just 2.5, and depending on the side, like if it's east, west, north, or if it was north, maybe it's 55 degrees instead of 45. And if you go south, it might be 30 or 35, but it's different. So just be careful every time you do a site study to go back and check the zoning and the height in relation to boundaries, because they mostly be different. Go back, you get an alternative height, so you can read about that if you want to as well. And the yards, I think it's the setbacks. So from the footpath, and then when you get into the boundary, usually they don't want you to build right up to the boundary, so they want some kind of setbacks, so 2.5. But I think 2.5. Well, I still have to look about this, because I mean, if you look at the shops that are on New North Road, well, they're close to their boundary, so maybe we are allowed to build that close. Yeah, that's, I have to check again. And then maximum impervious area, so that's like the hard surfaces, like pavement, parking areas, and yeah, so it's a maximum of 60%. Why it's important? Because if it's you have a concrete pad covering all the surface, when it rains, the water will gather into the will have to go into the stormwater pipes, and if there's too much water, it might block the pipes, and yeah, it's not fun for the cities. Everything's gonna overflow. So that's why they want to kind of minimize this, so that when it rains, it just go down to the earth. So 60%. Then you get building coverage, so that's the footprint of your buildings. Shouldn't exceed maybe 45%. And you get a minimum of landscape area, which is 35%. At least 8% of the area in the front, yeah. Oh, I think that's important as well. But I think I still need to check if, because it's a special housing area now, those rules might be a bit different. But it can be a starting point for your design. Outlook space, I think that's really important as well, because I think in this ruling there's nothing about the density, but this will kind of restrict your density, because Outlook is about how far a unit is from the other one. You don't want them to be too close because you wouldn't have any privacy. So as you can see, there's a lot of rules, guides, and here you get a little graphic. So you get unit 1, unit 2, and that's the Outlook space. Yeah, so you have to take that into consideration, how far apart the units are. Oops. Daylight. Okay, that's another thing about how close a building can be to the other one, so that you don't create a shadow on them. So I think that's important to read, and maybe you can make a diagram for that as well. Outdoor living space. I'm not too sure for a project. It's mostly when you create like terrace housing and everybody has their garden at the back, but in our project they kind of want us to have a share open space, but you can still have a read on that. Fence side, yeah. Minimum dwelling size, well, we've been told in the brief how big the units need to be, I think. Where is it? Yeah, so it's here. And let's see if there's anything. I think that's all. I think that's enough for us for our design. Okay. Now we're gonna go back to. Okay, so that's mostly it for the unitary plan. So that's what they have here. The characteristic, so like 3 stories, and open space. Those are the rules: height, intensity, coverage, permeable surface, and yep. So you can include maps and stuff like that. Also, now they have a page about openings and constraints. So now you've been told, well, you can do that type of development. So you can do low-rise, 3-story. You can go up to 6-story if you want to. 27 meter in height. You get the orientation of the sun. You get different type of views. But then you have to consider the winds from the south, because it's quite exposed. You have to consider the people that's around you, because you don't want to overshadow them. You don't want to. You have to take in consideration maybe the traffic, because where is it? Asquith, that's like the main road. So if people coming from here, they want to turn, let's say, into your development, they stop here and they're blocking everybody that's here. So I think David Turner said that a better entry will be on this side here, so people will just turn here, get here, and get out. So that's one of the constraints. Yep. I think that's it for now. And presentation wise, I mean, you could follow that, but this is just a guideline. I think it could be more artsy, I guess, but that's just to provide the information and so everybody can understand easily. And then after that, the second part, it's actually what we've been also asked to do, like present our concepts. And so you would do a page maybe about what's influencing you. Maybe you want to do co-housing, so you might talk about the different space that you want to share and how it might affect your layout. Or maybe you're thinking more about to do social housing and maybe create a profile for the type of family that'll be living there. So that's something that you can add here. And so that's what they ask you to do, the concept plan. So an idea of the different layouts and how you're going to position your buildings. So here they've little like options, different things they've tried out, and that's like the main one. And after that, it's just more more like detailed designs and show it how it is in context. More complete site plans with some labels, car parkings, floor plans, elevations. Actually, that's what they ask you to do at the end, you know, for a final presentation. That's what they want. And it's really good to create those type of images when you can see the building actually in the context. Sunlight diagram. So they've done like a shadow study just to show which building is going to be impacted by the shadow throughout the day. And at the end, what do they have? Oh, landscape. And this is important for us as well. Okay, well, I think that's it for now. I just hope that it might help you get an idea of the type of information that you will need to create the site analysis. So if we summarize, we have to study the sites, the boundaries, and so what's around that site, like the roads, and then you pull back, look what's in the neighborhood, the schools, the restaurants, the parks, the transport, and yeah, and look at how the different type of building are built around this place. Okay, well, that's it for tonight. I think the next video is I'm gonna make one about how to make your precedent studies, and yeah. Well, thank you for watching. See ya. Oh, do you have any questions? If you have any questions, just type in the live chat, or you can just send me a message later on Facebook if you wanted to. Okay, well, good night.